So I'm making this video because I'm tired of on Instagram seeing some trainers say, athletes, here are 3 exercises you need to become more explosive. And then it's like pogos and banded flutter kicks or some overly complex exercise. There's no certain exercise or rep scheme that makes you more explosive. Explosiveness is a physiological ability. If we want to improve a physiological ability, we need to apply a stress to that ability to elicit an adaptation. So we need to apply a stimulus that the body has not seen before to raise our baseline level of performance of that quality. So what is explosiveness? What are we trying to improve? Explosiveness is the ability to produce high amounts of force in short periods of time. So if we want to become more explosive, we need to stress our body to produce more force, so increase our force generating capacity, and stress our body to produce force fast. So how much force we can produce and how fast we can produce it. This is what we want to improve. So as far as how much force we can produce, if we want to stress our maximal strength, our force generating capacity, this is best done through heavy lifting. The best methods for this are use of exercises that allow for a lot of weight, involve a lot of muscle tissue, move through a large range of motion, and are progressible over time. And these are typically your basic compound lifts. So squat, bench, hinging, lunging, the basic exercises. Now these aren't marketable, they're not trendy, but they're the basics for a reason. They're the basics because you can use a lot of weight and progress it over time. A good indicator of effective heavy strength training is the bar speed. You should be attempting to move the bar fast, but due to the high resistance on the bar, it's moving slow. If we want to improve our ability to produce force, how much force we can produce, we need to stress it. So we should be straining. It should be difficult to get the weight up, and then we should progress the weight over time. Now, the rate of force, how fast we can produce force. Sprinting is the highest rate of force that our body can experience. The velocity of movement, the speed of contraction is unlike any other exercise you can do. In max velocity sprinting, we're experiencing up to 5 times our body weight in force on one leg in 1/10 of a second. So if we're talking about rate of force development, maximal velocity sprinting is king. So if we maximize how much force we can produce through maximal strength training and maximize the rate at which you can produce it through maximal velocity sprinting, we become more explosive. Some will say that this is all you need for explosive training, and I don't necessarily disagree. I think these are the 2 biggest pieces. But if we want to maximize explosive abilities and train in time frames that are applicable to sport, I think we need to train more in the middle of the curve. So this is more your traditional power or explosive training. I categorize it into force dominant power and velocity dominant power. So force dominant, as you can see, the V is bigger than the F. These are things like Olympic lifts and their derivatives. So power clean, hang clean, clean pulls, snatches, jerks, loaded jumps. I also classify dynamic effort lifting in here. So this is basically just fast lifting, moving weights fast. Then the velocity dominant power is, I categorize unweighted jumps and plyos into here. So jumping for maximal height, maximal distance, medicine ball throws as well. One thing that heavy lifting, sprinting, Olympic lifts, loaded jumps, plyometrics all have in common is that they allow for high outputs and they're progressible over time. They're progressible over time because we can always add more weight, can add height or distance to the jump, intensity to the plyometric. They allow for high outputs because they're not complicated. The more complicated an exercise is, the less likely you are training your explosiveness, and the more likely you're just training an exercise. So when you see people on Twitter or Instagram doing some landmine rotational clean and jerk with hopping around on one leg with a water bag and all this eyewash activity, they're not training their ability to produce high amounts of force in short periods of time. They're just performing an exercise. They're just training an exercise. They aren't improving this physiological ability of explosiveness.